What if the very thing you believe is destroying you is actually the only way the infinite can reach your soul? You have been told your entire life that this compulsion is a weakness, a flaw, a moral failing to be hidden. But I came to a realization so unsettling it dismantled everything I thought I knew. This relentless drive, this chain that binds you, it is not a punishment. It is a signal. It is a language. A voice from the depths of your own being trying to wake you up. The world sees a cycle of shame. I began to see a secret dialogue. The chase, the obsession, the inevitable collapse, the shame, and the desperate climb back up. None of it is meaningless. It is the pattern of a soul being prepared, being spoken to in the only way it will listen. That hunger you feel for alcohol, for control, for validation, for anything to quiet the noise. It is not an accident. It is a coded message, a pointer to something you have forgotten. And the fact that this fire burns so fiercely inside you, that is the first proof that you were never meant for an ordinary life. Have you ever felt trapped by your own desires, yet paradoxically terrified of what life would be without them? That contradiction is the evidence you need. The more you try to strangle the craving, the louder it screams. You are fighting it like an enemy, but what if it is actually a guide? It is not here to shatter you. It is here to strip you, to peel away the false self you've built. The voice speaks not in the calm moments, but in the chaos. In the urge you cannot explain. In the silence after you've given in. When you no longer recognize the person in the mirror, because in that moment, the work of becoming someone new can finally begin. So before you condemn this part of yourself, listen. It may be the most honest conversation you will ever have. There is a thirst inside you that nothing seems to touch. You've tried to drown it with substances, with people, with success, with the endless scroll of distraction. But no matter what you pour into that space, the void returns, stronger, more demanding. I came to believe this thirst is the most sacred thing about you. It is not a sign you are broken. It is a sign you are searching. When you reach for that relief, that high, that escape, you aren't just being weak. You are responding to a call whose source you have yet to identify. Your soul is starving for meaning, and this compulsion is the only vocabulary it has left. This ancient thirst has been with humanity since the dawn of consciousness, but it does not burn in everyone with the same intensity. Only certain souls carry this burden, this relentless ache that refuses to be pacified. I saw them as the marked ones. They carry a divine restlessness that prevents them from ever being comfortable with a life of surface-level satisfaction. Most people can drink without being consumed. Most can chase pleasure and stop before it destroys them. But you cannot. And this is not a sign of your defect. It is your signature. The thirst that cannot be quenched by anything worldly is proof that something transcendent is trying to reach you, trying to pull you into a transformation you keep resisting. I discovered this pattern most clearly in those fighting for sobriety. It wasn't about the substance itself. It was a desperate attempt to grasp something beyond the mundane, something that their soul felt was missing from reality. They sought to feel connection, to feel the aliveness that a colorless world could not provide. But here is the cruel paradox. The very mechanism you use to satisfy the thirst becomes the thing that perpetuates it. You seek wholeness, but the act fractures you. You chase the ecstasy to escape the pain, but the aftermath deepens the wound. It is a loop designed to break you. But what if that is precisely the point? I argued this cycle was not chaos. It was a mechanism, a spiritual architecture built for those with the strength to endure it. This message is not for everyone because not everyone requires such a severe lesson. But for those who do, the core truth is always the same. What you seek outside of yourself can only be discovered within. Your thirst is real, but your aim is misdirected. You have been trying to fill a sacred hunger with profane solutions, and every time you try, the hole widens, the hunger intensifies, and you feel more lost than before. This is where most give up. They see the endless loop and conclude they are fundamentally flawed. But I saw the opposite. The intensity of your craving is a direct measure of the depth of your calling. The more you suffer, the greater your capacity for awakening. This unquenchable thirst is not your sentence, it is your schooling. The divine speaks through this impossible hunger because only through it can you learn the hardest truth. Nothing in this world will ever be enough. Not wealth, not love, not power, not pleasure. Nothing. And when you finally stop fighting that truth and start listening to it, the thirst begins to shift. It transforms from a need to consume into an opening to receive. The craving that once led you to destruction becomes a doorway to a connection you never imagined, a direct link to the source that has been calling you all along. But you cannot reach this place while you are still at war with yourself. You cannot hear the message while you are drowning in shame. You must first accept that this force is not your enemy. It is your teacher, the thorn that will not let you rest until you finally turn inward and face what you have been fleeing from. The thirst will never be satisfied by anything external. That is the brutal, liberating truth, and that was never its purpose. The thirst is the call. The craving is the invitation. And this part of you is the only thing powerful enough to force you to finally answer. You have tried to stop 1,000 times. You have made promises to yourself, to others, perhaps to the universe. And still you fell. Each relapse feels like evidence of your failure, proof that you are too far gone. But what if falling is not the opposite of rising? What if each collapse is actually a step deeper into a journey you do not yet comprehend? I believe this repetition, the cycle of addiction and relapse, was not a sign of defeat but a necessary descent, a journey into the parts of yourself you have spent a lifetime avoiding. I called this the encounter with the shadow. This is the part of you that you reject, the aspects you deny and bury, your anger, your shame, your fear, your hidden desires. Everything you pretend doesn't exist. But this part of you has a way of dragging everything into the light. Every time you fall, you are forced to confront something true about yourself that you would never face if life were comfortable. The person trapped in this cycle cannot hide behind polite masks or social pretenses. This force strips away the layers until you are standing bare before yourself and before the infinite. And that is the entire point. Most people go through life never truly knowing who they are. They build identities based on expectations, approval, safety. But the marked ones, those driven by this compulsion, do not have that luxury. They are forced into the depths, ready or not, and each fall takes them deeper. I understood this descent as a sacred process. In the oldest stories, the hero must always journey into the underworld before they can ascend. They must face the monsters, the parts of themselves they fear most. Only then can they claim their true power. Only then can they be reborn. This part of you is your underworld. Each relapse is another layer peeled away, another illusion shattered, another false self destroyed. It feels like death, because it is in a way. But death is never the end. It is the beginning of transformation. And the voice speaks most clearly in the places where you feel most lost. The pattern of falling is not random. It follows a rhythm I recognized as deeply spiritual. You rise with hope. You fall with despair. You rise with determination. You fall with guilt. Over and over. And each cycle teaches you something essential. You cannot save yourself through sheer will. You cannot overcome this through discipline or control. This is the hardest lesson for the chosen ones because most of you are fighters. You are used to conquering obstacles with force. But this does not respond to force. The harder you fight, the stronger its grip becomes. The more you resist, the tighter the hold. And so, you must learn to stop fighting and begin surrendering. Surrender is not giving up. It is acknowledging you are facing something more powerful than your ego, something that requires a different kind of strength. It means admitting you need help, that you cannot do this alone, that the path forward is not upward but downward, deeper into the darkness, deeper into the unknown, deeper into the parts of yourself you have run from your whole life. I found that those who eventually break free do so, not by conquering this force, but by integrating it. They stop seeing their shadow as an enemy and begin seeing it as a part of themselves that needs to be understood, accepted, and transformed. They stop fighting the fall and start learning from it. Each time you collapse, you are being given a gift, a chance to see yourself more clearly, a chance to understand why you crave what you crave, why you run from what you run from. why you hurt in the ways you hurt. And with each fall, if you are willing to look, you come closer to the truth that will set you free.